So let's get more so into the Pulse Chain ecosystem. So first off, we'll talk about this thing from last night. So right around 5 o'clock Eastern time, there were news that I guess the court docket on Court Listener with the kind of erroneous SEC lawsuit that was filed against Richard Hart had an update with the SEC folks claiming that they officially served him. This caused many people on Twitter that I don't know, have some kind of like a newspaper complex or something. I don't know what it is, but it prompted them to tweet, the all caps breaking news: Richard Hart has been served, and all these things. Then we get further news from it, and you see what the document actually says, which is basically that we haven't really served him. We don't know where he is. We just left some papers somewhere where he may have lived at one time. And we're going to hope that you consider this proper service. So, I know you feel the same way I do about this Ewok. I don't really care about the news or lack thereof here, because regardless of whether he really was or not, this is a step that would happen in this stupid process anyway. So who cares? Like the reactionary stuff already happened. This is where the price is. Nothing's going to change. Nothing has actually changed with the price since any of that stuff. But I know our gripe is more so with some of these tweeters and where they've gone with this news, or again, lack thereof. So what was your take? We talked about it in the green room, but what's kind of your take on how some people go about reporting this stuff whenever it comes to light?
Yeah, tweeters or twatters or whatever you want to call them, but yeah, it's the whole breaking news mentality. They want to be the first ones to post something, true or not, and get that clout from it, the interaction, the engagement. Many of you don't know this. We haven't really talked about it on stream, but behind the scenes, we've decided to try to talk a lot less about the whole lawsuit and things like that, because we feel that it's creating our own chilling effect when it's really not necessary. Everything could go on without him, no matter what happens. We're hoping for a SEC victory. I think it would be even more bullish. But again, we don't need him to like we just got done saying a little bit ago. The contract is locked. It still works. Everything is good. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And I worry that people are just being overzealous with their news and just trying for engagement. One of the posts I saw, the dude had like 100 followers, and like, breaking news, and he was arguing with one of the guys. I forget what's the guy's name, the lawyer guy that we kind of refer to.
Nuclear Herbs.
Nuclear Herbs. Yeah, he's a good person to follow for accurate information. And he'll even admit when he says, "I don't know. I've not done this part of the process before," but he does put out a lot of good information. And then you get some other people that have no idea what they're talking about, and they just want FUD. They just want to see it fail. So they'll do everything they can to put stuff out there, whether it's true or not, and hope it causes FUD and price go down, because that's their ultimate goal. Again, Hex definitely threatens, I think, the Bitcoin people. It always has. They didn't like Richard because he jumped ship and did his own thing. There's a lot to it. So, anytime they can bash him or say bad things about him, they do. So, we've tried to steer clear of talking about it a whole lot. But when things like this happen, we've got to let people know that read the information before you go putting it out there. Half of this is not true. I don't know any court that would accept this as service. I think someone earlier today said the address was a library. And when you break down the meaning of the street, it's something like Richard Home or something like that. So either he was very creative at one time and used that as an address. It's kind of funny when you look into it, but it is a library. So yeah, and they left a note at the police station. They put something on the door and considered that service with a note at the police station, I don't see it holding up in court. And who knows if that he probably doesn't even live anywhere close to there. He's always been a step or two ahead. Now, on the flip side of this, a lot of us just want it to be over with, right? We're tired.
Mhm.
We think there's a good fight. We want to see it play out. We want to see it go through the process, and hopefully a victory or a settlement. Worst case scenario, So yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. I wish people would stop rushing to put news out that wasn't
Yeah.
really news, and it's just FUD, unnecessary FUD, that's causing people a lot of anguish at this time of the bear market. So
I think that's the big thing is people need to stop with the breaking news thing. Like I know that your prideful Twitter follower count and people rely on you for the news or something, which couldn't be further from the truth, but at least get it right, before you get happy trigger finger and report
right.
it to your followers. Like it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, in my opinion, I mean, if you want to know anything about any of that from somebody who isn't full of shit, I would follow Nuclear Herbs on Twitter. And I mean, again, like you said, Ewok, he's not. He will say, if there's something that he admits that he could get something wrong. But I mean, he certainly knows more what he's talking about than most of these people out here that are just taking clippings and stuff. And actually, another thing, I saw Funding Jim, Gary Woods brought this up to bring him up again. But he said that, one of the things against Twitter policy right now, speaking of Elon Musk as well, is reporting what is not public should not be public information like that. And like court proceedings of any kind fall under that umbrella. Like there are addresses in there, whether they're real or not. They're in there, and it's not supposed to be for public consumption, like those documents. Now, it is on that court listener site, but again, Nuclear Herbs, when he shares that stuff, it's because he pays for a Pacer account, as any attorney in the United States would. They have a Pacer account with court listener, so they can get in there and view documents for like their own cases, their own clients and stuff like that. But you can see it for anything. So that shit is not just out there for everyone to see. And technically is a violation that it's even on Twitter. So, also be careful of that stuff when you're sharing it, because again, interpersonal court proceedings of any kind, it doesn't matter what it is, that is not for the public eye. That is not for people to see. And I don't mean that. I'm not defending, Richard. I'm certainly not defending the SEC. I'm not defending anybody. I'm just saying that in general, that stuff is not supposed to be for people to see, especially when it's just like little backs and forth before anything's even happening. And I wanted to respond to something you said, Ewok, too. The other reason we have made a decision not to really talk about it as much is because it doesn't matter. Like the SEC is a complete corrupt clown show. They lose at every single turn. Everybody hates Gary Gensler. They're just not a threat. There's infighting even within their own establishment. I never remember her name, but Hester Pierce, I think, is already somebody that's dissenting and has said, whether it's real or not, a lot of pro crypto stuff. So, I mean, this is not something to worry about. I don't know why people get their panties in a bunch about this agency when they are clearly out to hurt people. Judges have agreed with that. And, and they favored Ripple, the most security-like crypto that exists, over the SEC. So stop worrying about this shit and stop getting fudded out of everything every time you see some stupid court document. Like you could literally get something in the mail that's a jury summons, and it looks like you just got like a lifetime sentence in the mail. I mean, those documents look like that. It just is what it is.
And at the same time, they missed FTX, which was right under their nose.
Yeah, right.
They didn't miss it. They did it on purpose because they were getting funded by it. So, yeah, they're not there to protect us. And that's been made quite obvious. So, yeah, I wouldn't put a whole lot of faith in anything that they say or do.
Yeah. So I would move on from that and do not get your news from these people that are just fly by. If I'll put it this way, if somebody puts breaking news in all caps before a tweet, just take it with a grain of salt is all I will say.
Do a little research. Do a little research first.
DYOR, as we say in crypto, for sure.